Good evening, troops, and happy Christmas, whatever it comes. We've got our
Right.
two Santas here tonight. I'm Owen, and we've got Charlie. How are you?
I'm good.
Alrighty.
This.
So we thought we would get in the spirit of things, and we just had the idea earlier on. I thought, you know what? We got two kick-ass Santa movies over the past couple of years. We got Fatman, starring Mel Gibson, and
Yep.
then we got David Harbour in Violent Night, which is just this weekend. So I thought, you know what? Let's do a little Christmas versus, and we dressed up especially for it.
I like it. We didn't plan this either.
No, I know. It's like we just look like twins, except your beard's better for now.
For now, we'll give you some
That's
time
such
to
a gold
catch up.
mine. I know. I was saying, by the way, that to Jim and the other guys, and I thought if they ever do a God of War movie, you should be cast as Kratos or Kratos.
I'd take it. I'd do it.
Paint on,
Just
you
a
got the
little
paint.
bit of paint on the face, and I'd go.
There you
Man.
go, and that's it.
I will run around shirtless. I don't give a shit. It's fine.
Yeah. I know. I'd pay to see it. I think it sounds good.
There you go.
So we're gonna just do a little versus tonight, and we have a comment already before we even start.
I know. Starting
From
off hot.
Extreme Movie Show. Hey all, we just reviewed Violent Night. I think myself it's horrible, interesting. Fatman was solid. Enjoy the stream. Alrighty.
We will do that, and that's a hot take, and we
Mhm.
are all entitled to hot takes.
Yep. Well, yeah, we got some differing opinions, so this should be very entertaining. So
Oh yeah.
let's start off talking about Fat Man, which is from 2020. It stars Mel Gibson and the amazing Walton Goggins, who just steals the entire movie.
Oh
I mean,
my
really,
God.
it's his movie.
It is.
I just think he's hilarious in it. But the thing is, it's such a kind of strange movie. Like, it's not a particularly funny movie. There's like 3 or 4 funny moments in it, but generally the tone is quite sort of serious and almost somber. But the character of, well, he's Chris in this. I mean, that's the thing. He never really feels like Santa. It's sort of.
I don't
What if
know
he
if they
was
actually say the name to anyone talking to him.
Not to him. He's just known as Chris.
The kid says it,
Mhm.
and Walter Goggins is like, I got to kill Santa, but no one around him says
It's just
it.
always
Not even
Chris,
the elves.
Chris Kringle. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. But I kind of like that, and Gibson's perfect in it because he's just got
Oh,
that
God.
world-weary look. But both in this and in Violent Night, both our Santas have generally lost their faith in humanity, which is understandable because we all have, and they just think that humanity doesn't really deserve Santa anymore or anything else because everyone's just like so nihilistic. So something has to happen to make them come back to Christmas and believing again. You have to believe. And that's I love Mel Gibson's performance in this because he always just sort of looks like he's on the brink of tears, and usually he is at various points in it. I just think his performance is surprisingly moving and serious in a movie which is supposed to be kind of silly, but yet it's not.
Well, I think that's it, man. It's like they could have really gone silly with it, and they didn't. Even to the point that you have a movie with elves in it.
Yeah.
As they don't go silly. It is the most like grounded version of Santa Claus. But I know Mel Gibson sometimes is a touchy subject, whatever his personal stuff is, that's on him. As an actor, God, this movie it's J-Man.
Hey,
J-Man.
Did you not get the memo? Come on, man. What's up?
What's your hat?
I don't. This is literally the closest thing I've got to any kind of Santa thing.
You Scrooge. What's wrong with you?
My niece and nephew are over today. It's my nephew's birthday a couple weeks ago, and then my niece's birthday is coming up. So it's like one of those. I was like, well, if we pick it right in between, then
celebrate it all.
It works out. So I told Owen I can't make it. And I'm like, what time is it again? It's like 7. They left at like 5:15. I was like, okay, I can watch this movie right now. And
so you watched it?
Yeah, I watched Fatman. I just finished it.
Excellent.
Right now, and ran to the room and got on here. So
put your pants on and then we're good to go.
Oh,
no pants.
Yeah.
I was gonna say no pants.
I definitely put my pants on. I promise.
Sure you did. Yeah. All right, we'll get to your thoughts on it in a minute. So Charlie was just saying. Continue.
Well, I was gonna say that as far as Fatman goes, this is one of the ones where I really see the actor Mel Gibson, like his facial range. The pain you feeling, the stress we all feel at Christmas. No. And I believed, like I wasn't watching Riggs act like Santa Claus. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm watching a tired, beat down, stressed out Santa Claus who's just trying to get past the holidays, figure out how they're going to make it. And, that's it. And I loved Mel Gibson in this. Absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah, it's like I said, it's such a sort of weird film. Like I can't say it's like anything that I'd seen before.
No.
Like when you're watching it, and I was like, this is just a unique movie, and like it's Walton Goggins that like steals the show though, because he's kind of scary and creepy, but yet hilarious at the same time. Like I just love whenever he goes into the post office and like he puts the guy's head in the desk, and then he's like, write it down, and he's like,
yeah, make it legible.
To the right, to the right, to the right. He's like, what?
Yeah, well, he goes into the pet store. You know, it's like, lady, I didn't come in here to buy a snake. I came in here to buy a hamster. You know,
sounds like my mother.
That was where I feel like that's how they got their comedy in here without being like slapsticky or telling jokes. It was just his reaction to people, you know, outside of his norm, outside of what he does. And that was the comedy. And I use that word just because I don't know what else to say. Like you said, I don't know how else to describe this movie.
Black comedy, really? It's
a very black, dark comedy that honestly, if it wasn't for such the little bit of things that make you feel happy, this is a very depressing movie. You know, thank God there's gunplay in it. And, you know, I get excited at that, and, you know, we'll get to it, but the ending is probably one of my favorite endings in a movie. And it's just like, man, this movie is so hard to describe to someone. If I wanted to tell him to watch it, you know, J-Man's easy. We're like, go watch it. And then you could be on the stream, and he's like, done. I will go watch it. But anyone else, like if I tried to talk my dad into it, he'd be like, well, what is it? And all I could tell him is like, did you listen to me when I said watch Nobody? Yeah. Then let's go with that. If I told you to go watch it, go watch it. You'll enjoy it. So
yeah, it's such a hard film to explain to people, because it's like it's an action movie like towards the end, but there really isn't much action like in the first half. Really, it's more the little kid who's just a little shit in this movie. Is like, oh god, I hate him. But he's perfectly, but he's hilarious at the same time. Like whenever they got a little, is it Chrissy or whatever?
Oh yeah,
her name is, and like with the electrodes in the basement, like oh my god, what's he gonna do? And then
that was such a Lethal Weapon throwback too, because that's he's like Endo right there with the jumper pack and battery, and I love it.
Oh yeah, so yeah, no, I still really enjoy the movie. Like I said, it's a strange one, and if people said, yeah, I didn't really like this one, I would understand why they say it, because
this one I understand more when people are a little bit more like, it wasn't for me. I don't really get it. And you're right, it is slow. It's not it's an action movie, but it's not, you know, but it does get good action at the end, but even then it slows down. Like you get an excellent shootout and then it slows back down again.
But the action is always clear. It's usually in daylight. You can see everything. It's all well shot.
Absolutely.
Flawless performance. I also love Ruth, Chris's wife. I just loved her. And I think it's Marianne Jean-Baptiste, I think her name is. She's such a genuine sort of warmth that just exudes
warmth and strength. That just that whole thing, like she is the only person that like Chris could like lean against, you know, to get through everything.
His back.
She has his back and everything. And I'm just going to say there's one scene in this movie that is my absolute favorite, and I could watch it on repeat, is when he steals the damn cookie whenever she's trying to give other people the cookie and she's like taking it away from him, and the speed that fat man snatches that cookie and takes off running from her. I adore that scene in this movie. I could watch it on repeat all day.
The other weird thing is, he's not fat.
I was just gonna say that. I was just writing that down. I'm like, he's not. I don't think like, yo, dude, come on. I was over 300, and he was skinnier than me. I'm thinking, no way.
I'm 280, boys. I'm not little. So
yeah, like what the heck?
Whenever like Fatman, I'm like, who? It's like it's really the jacket that's big. He's really not fat at all.
I would have taken that body. Easy. I mean, give me that one.
And he takes his shirt off too, you know, whenever he gets shot in the thing. And so it's like, you know, he's just got a normal dad bod. Come on, man. Dad bod's back, man. We all have dad bod. You know, he's got Santa bod. But I like how it's kind of like them taking it back. You know, he's just known as that instead of just always going Santa, Santa, Santa. And he calls himself Fat Man, and then Walter Goggins calls him Fat Man. Right. You know, it's so that Walter Goggins.
Little kid,
the little kid I think calls him Fat Man too.
Like, what was it? He shouts, like, "You've really done it this time, Fat Man."
Oh, with that yell! Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah.
He walks outside and drops to his knees, and I love how they tried to make it dramatic, but it's what I could imagine my kid not getting a certain video game for Christmas, and he walks outside all sullen. Ah!
No,
exactly.
All right,
like,
so
what is he doing out there?
So this is your first time watching it, Jay. What did you think of it?
Yeah, so okay, so we're just doing what we thought of Fatman, right? That's what we're
and then we'll do Violent,
and then we'll do Violent, and then we'll compare. Okay.
Yeah.
So I liked it. This is like a borderline action movie. I don't even know if I would sell it as an action movie. I would say it is more of almost a character study, if that's even it's a character study between Santa, who's been existing in the real world and trying to make ends meet, while simultaneously trying to adhere to what Santa does and what he enjoys doing. He's lost his way, just as society's lost his way. Santa reflects the society in this movie, where he's lost his way, society has lost his way, kids are now irritating. Violent Night deals with this too. This deals with it a bit better though, because we do get a kid's perspective plus an assassin's perspective. So it's like we've got a picture of a spoiled bratty kid who always gets what he wants, but Santa's the only one who doesn't give him what he wants. That's number one. Number two, we've got the guy who was a kid, the assassin. He's now had a bad childhood, never got what he wanted from Santa, and now he's just a complete asshole and kills people. And then we have Santa, who's sort of like, well, the season's not what it meant. It doesn't mean what it used to mean, to the point where I can't even survive just based on Christmas anymore. I now have to kind of take on orders from the US government. I've got it's like a third party, so it's like the government's come in. It's like, look, we know you're hard up, we could offer you this contract, and you're like, okay. So it's actually very realistic. If Santa was a real person, how would he be? Well, if he's a person, he would get upset at how things are, just like anybody else would get upset. He lost his Christmas spirit. The elves are still they're kind of a little bit of hope. They're still kind of like, yeah, we like doing this, but Santa's lost his way a little bit. You do feel it. I think that you feel it with Mel Gibson. I do feel that this is a performance by Mel Gibson, and this isn't a caricature of Santa and let's make Santa an action guy. This is let's make Santa a realistic person. And some people might be like, well, okay, I don't really care about that. So if someone did not like this movie, I wouldn't really fight them on it. I did actually like the movie. It was a bit slow, but not it was 1 hour and 40 minutes. And I know that because I literally checked the time. They left at 5:15.
It's never boring.
I'm like, I don't think it's slow boring. I think it's slow because it's painting a picture of a realistic world. It's as realistic as you could possibly get with dealing with a Santa.
The subject matter.
The subject matter.
Right.
Look, it's a buy-in. If you're like, yeah, this is stupid,
that don't bother watching.
That's it. It's over, right? Like my grandmother watched 5 minutes of Captain Kirk Star Trek. She's like, "This is stupid." I'm like, right? You're in or you're out, right? If you're in on the concept, then you're going to be in with the movie, because I think it does everything pretty well as you can possibly do with this. I mean, I don't think there's a big mega action at the end, but the buildup of setting up Walt Goggins versus Santa, building that up at the end is pretty neat, because you're like, oh, well, they're going to meet. So you're like, well, how is this going to play out? Right. And what's going to happen with the kid? I mean, I know is it a spoiler? Santa's not going to die. Right. But what's going to happen with the kid? And the ending is great, which I guess we could get to when we compare them. But
this one's been out for a couple of years. I feel like
it's 2020.
This one people should have seen it.
Spoiler alert for both movies.
Yes, because it's going to be hard to talk about Violent Night without. We'll try not to go through every little thing that spoils it, but we have to talk about some things.
But
I agree with you, and that's just it, man. I don't think I would classify this as your straight up action movie. Will this go on my action shelf? Will this go in my collection? 100%. But
I watch it every year.
So far I bought it on streaming. I want to find whenever one of those boutique DVD places picks it up, I want to get one that maybe has some extra details about it. That's the only down thing. So it sucks about streaming. I don't get my behind the scenes. I don't get any commentary, and I would absolutely love more about their thought process on making Fatman, on what brought this idea on. Like, you're sitting there watching it going, damn, why has nobody really done this before? You know, like why don't we have these type of Christmas stories? And it's the realism that gets me. And there is one part of this movie before we move on to the next one, and I wanted to, the ending line he tells the kid, and it's not just a line, it's what he says.
Yeah.
And this is what is forever will make this movie top tier to me. And it's, now look at me, child. A wicked soul bent on bloodshed was sent to collect my head. Like you, he thought he lived outside the morals of consequence. Now he is buried with a lack of reverence, which means I just stuck him in the dirt. One more time, Billy Winnan. Once more, and you'll be getting more than coal in your stocking. If your grandmother meets an early grave, if Christine Crawford suffers so much as a cold, and if anyone crosses your path is made feel less or lower because of you, I'm coming back. I'll come while you sleep and rip you from your covers. By my hand, you will know the consequence of your actions. So don't screw it up. The fat man's got his eyes on you, kid. And that's just one of those holy fuck moments.
Gibson delivers it perfectly because he's really menacing as well.
The look in his eye, the good eye when he has the patch on is just like he's like, I could rip this kid apart and I wouldn't blink ripping you apart. And I love the delivery and the mood and the tone. And Mrs. Claus is standing there too the whole time. She's slowly unwraps his wound to show the kid what, the consequence of what he did. Oh my God. But I buried that guy in a grave with no reverence. That's just, he's in an unmarked grave. I love that ending.
Yeah. That's a great ending. Like I said, it's not really an action movie, but the last like 20 minutes, half hour is whenever he goes and he starts shooting up the Elves factory. That's great because I actually find it kind of an upsetting scene to watch because it's almost like a school shooting or whatever, because the elves are small. You almost can make a comparison with that. These innocent creatures are being shot at by this monster.
And they don't kill any of the elves.
I noticed that.
None of the elves die, and I actually like that they made that choice.
Yeah, thank God.
That honestly, I'd have to feel like that would have probably sent Chris over the edge had anyone there, because they talk about the honor of the elves. We don't reissue numbers. That would be disrespectful.
Like
I was like, I love Seven. Aside from Walter Goggins and Mel Gibson, is probably my other favorite actor in this movie as far as the elves go. And shout out to the one dude that dismantled the bomb in like 5 seconds. You mean this? This is nothing to me. I loved it.
Did you guys notice the one guy's name was Waylon? I was like, oh my God, Waylon from that was his name in Thing, wasn't it? In Justified, right?
Justified, yeah. That's right.
And Walt Goggins is from Justified, and he actually goes up again. He's like, Waylon. Yeah, it's Waylon Gibbons.
Never even thought about that.
I just because I just watched it now. And Walt Goggins is like there. He's like, Waylon, huh? And I'm like, hey, I was like, that's not a mistake. That's not a coincidence.
Yeah, that's where I get my Walter Goggins fill. Is like, I'll just sit there and watch Justified. I adore that. Plus, I love Timothy Olyphant.
Oh yeah, he's the damn best.
He's awesome. He's one of the best. It was like, he was one of the good things in the Book of Boba Fett. Was like whenever he showed up, I was like, oh, now the show is good.
I've got his figure right here. I have 2 figures. I have the Bill Burr character, and I have the what's his name on there? Cobb Vanth. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Corn Cob.
Okay, so that's also on Fatman. So we'll move on to Violent Night, which is out this weekend with David Harbour and John Leguizamo as the villain. And anybody who saw my review the other day, I was like, I was a little disappointed with the movie, and so was J-Man, because we were going in. I was like, this is going to be a 4-star movie. I can't wait. This is like my most anticipated movie. I think this is going to be an instant classic. And then I was sort of watching it, and I was like, okay, not much is happening for like the first 20, 30 minutes. I was like, okay, it's just building everything up, introducing characters, whatever. But I was like, why are there no characters that I like so far though? I was like, I'm on the terrorist side here. I'm like the bad guys. I was like, why do I care? You can go ahead and kill these people. They're all assholes anyway. The only person that's likable is little Trudy, the little girl.
Right.
And that was sort of my thing. I didn't like any of them. I didn't care about any of them. The dad was such a pussy. I was just like, oh, just shoot this guy. Man, no fucking man's like that. It probably is, unfortunately.
No, there are. That's the character of him, is rich, coddled to men. They're pussies.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is an action movie. No,
Yes.
like you got great fight scenes, incredible kills. Some of my favorite kills of the year, and it's sort of a return of like the ridiculously over the top deaths, like the good old days, like people getting killed with icicles.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that as a nice Die Hard 2 nod. Also,
Yep.
spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, like I knew whenever the rescue team, we all knew as soon as the rescue team was going to come along, everyone's like, "This is Die Hard 2 again. They're going to be the bad guys." Of course,
Yep.
that was true. So there were no like surprises to the story in any way.
No.
But you got epic bad guy death at the end. I won't say what it was, but it was so ridiculously awesome.
It was awesome.
Like, yeah, that was a
yeah. I think we should keep that one secret. That's
Yeah.
one everyone should experience. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. But if you've ever wanted to see Santa Claus fuck up an entire room of people with a sledgehammer, this is your movie right here. Even though our theater,
I couldn't see any of it, but
I could make it enough what was going on. But I think I might have been our theater though, because Charlie could see everything.
So our theater recently refurbed. They updated a handful of them, and we had 2 showings 10 minutes apart. And they were like, "Yeah, one of them's in the new one." I was like, "That one." That scene, while it is filmed dark, I could see everything. There was even a blue hue that for that nighttime shot, but I saw every kill, every spurt of blood. Like I could see it all. And like, I get that you guys aren't the only ones that have said that. I've seen some other reviews where they're like, yeah, the awesome scene was dark. And I was like, it kind of had to be. It was in a barn. It's kind of like the stealth mode. The dude's in red. And I liked how they did it where red doesn't mean you're easily seen. Like it's hard to see him, even though he's wearing red and white in that barn.
But you should still be able to see it though. Like you go back at like fight scenes at nighttime, like the final fight scene in Universal Soldier, you can see everything that's going on. It's at nighttime in the rain. You can see everything going on. So why couldn't we see it here?
I could see it about that clearly. And
really?
the reason because A, we just covered Universal Soldier, and B, there's a nice little nod to Universal Soldier in this movie because
one of the kills. Yeah.
In one of the kills. So,
yeah.
But that was it was one of those things. Like when I'm looking back at it, and J-Man, you even mentioned in your review that you went back and watched the trailer, and you saw a handful of the kills are from that scene that they seem clear. I saw it all. Like that would never be a detriment that I would ever give this movie, that I didn't see the kills clearly. It was just, that was the one scene that was filmed in the dark basically, but it wasn't like I'm one of the first
because he's killing people with a sledgehammer, and it would have got like an NC-17 rating if they kept that in. And
I feel like it's that, plus they probably were able to save some money by probably some of the kills being CG blood, so that they could get away with that. And that's as much as I want to bitch about like CG blood and stuff, I also get it from a movie making standpoint. Now you're not cleaning the set. Now you're not cleaning costumes.
Money.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like, oh, that didn't work. Reset. Do it again. None of this
does look like absolute shit every fucking time though, and
it does.
It takes me out of it. It's like the CG muzzle flare on guns or whatever. Whenever you watch like the low budget indie movies or whatever, I was like, that looks like shit. And I was like, I'm done.
That you can definitely tell them, but I think if you're going to use it, and I think that's probably one of the reasons they filmed it dark, because this is the fight scene in the movie. This is where
that's the big one.
All chaos comes through. One of my things going into this movie is I had a totally different thought process of what they were going to do. Like I was expecting Santa to just use magic the entire time and like completely overpower him. And that's not what happens at all. He just happens up on this situation. Very Die Hard-ish. Look, they do not hide the fact that they are paying homage to Die Hard.
He even says Die Hard on Blu-ray when he's
Die Hard on Blu-ray. I loved it. He's video game, Die Hard on Blu-ray, video game.
The best thing about the film, though, is as we discussed, was the flashback showing Santa's origin, and he's like a Viking, and I was like, "Give me that movie! I don't want to see that."
I literally said that. It's like, oh my god! And we walked over like, that is the movie I want to see of how this all came to pass or whatever. Like, that's cooler.
When that happened, they do that first tiny little tease of it, and I was already like, oh, what the shit? They're actually going, because technically Santa Claus is Norse. Santa Claus is a version of Odin, from those stories, and Yule and all that shit. But the fact that they actually tied that in,
I thought you'd like that. That's what I was telling you privately. I was like, there's gonna be a part in this movie where you're gonna be like, oh.
Look, I look a certain way, and I'm sure people have seen. I don't have it on right now, but I usually have my hammer on. And it was just, I loved the thought process. They also give another nod to it if you pay attention to his sled. His sled is basically a mini longboat. It has the dragon head coming off the front of it. So I loved every bit of it. And I'm with you guys. I want a Violent Night prequel. I want to know how he get it. And their workaround in this movie was, I don't know how it works. Even Santa doesn't know how the Christmas magic works. And so that's why it was like, it just is. It just exists. It just happened. So it's almost like he's paying some type of penance for his violent
that's what it is.
Life. And so this is what he's done. And just like in Fatman, he's beat down about the world. No one gives a shit about Christmas. I love the kids leaving a list, cash, video game, cash. He's dropping 20s in a stocking and just like, I don't give a shit about any of this. I love that. Now, you both didn't like characters. I can see that to an extent, but I also look at this going, wow, this is what they're speaking against, is the lack of Christmas cheer and fake holiday cheer. Everything in that house is fake. Everything going on, like it's all a play to them. It's the holidays. We must do all this stuff and put on this big show. No one actually gives a shit about it except Trudy. She is truly the character we're following. Aside,
she's the only pure-hearted person.
She is they say it. She is the only pure. And out of millions of kids, she's one of the few that actually still believe. And I think every character is a caricature of, like the shitty character, like Todd and Margot from Christmas Vacation, the very affluent neighbors. He was like, why is the carpet all wet, Todd? I pictured them in those places of like the sister. Her freaking husband / boyfriend is probably my favorite out of the family, aside from Trudy. What was his name? Morgan Steele, the action hero.
Yeah. I was thinking Cam Gigonde.
Jean-Claude Van Dipshit.
Van Dipshit, I like that. Yeah.
Dude, our theater erupted when that happened.
I did too. That was my favorite line.
Freaking funny. But I get it. And the guy is the dad is beat down by his mom, held under her thumb. His marriage is going to shit because of that. He has no backbone, period. And he's even trying to steal from his mom and all this other stuff going. I believed him as the weakling. Like, even at the end, it's kind of comical, him trying to fight back. And it's purposely like, you're not going to do it. You're the weak one in this whole thing. They toss him around like a rag doll. So I understood it. And they take so many, like, not just like the Home Alone aspects or anything, tons of holiday movies. It's just like they took a little bit of everything and made this amalgam of an action movie, just paying homage to all of it. And to me, it worked. Like, this is on my scale would be like a 8.5 Al Leong movie. I smiled the entire movie. I cheered. I got the rest of the crowd in the theater cheering because, some people are like, that was cool. I don't know if I should say. I was going, yeah. And everyone else around was like, yeah, that guy knows what he's talking about. That was awesome. I was audible in this thing. And when a good movie sign is if I'm audible during it. And I was audible in this movie. And David Harbour, I believe him as Santa Claus every freaking step of the way of this movie goes. I love it.
is definitely the better Santa. Like, you know, I mean, when you look at him, you see Santa. He
Yeah,
looks like him.
yeah.
He's got a big bill. He's got the hat now and all that stuff. So he is actual proper, you know, Santa, and there's no pretending it. And I did like that. They kept the magic aspect of it. They weren't pretending that this is real
like
and gritty
that.
or anything. They're like, no, this is still the magic of Christmas and everything else.
Yes.
And that I did like about it. Am I going to buy it in 4K? Yes. Will I watch it probably every year? Probably.
Absolutely.
So if it comes out in 4K, I better do. It made 13 million this weekend, though, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I saw
like this.
Vanity was already saying something like 11.8, like, and I don't think that was counting today into it.
Yeah,
I don't know what the budget was for it or anything.
I don't think it would be huge. I mean,
it couldn't have.
It's mostly just at the house, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's like 2 locations or something.
If the budget's more than like 40 million, then that's a disgrace. There's like not really any.
IMDb showing worldwide gross already of over 20 million. So it's got some legs. Look, I see more positive than I do negative, and I don't count your guys as negative. You had some issues with it, but overall, like J-Man, you gave it
well, I gave it a 5 on my scale. That's
on 5. But that's
and I gave it 3, which is about the same as probably a 5. I probably give it a 6.
Yeah, you're probably 6 or 7. I'm giving it like an 8.5, and I think more my enjoyment factor really amped it up, you know, because I don't know if it was because Owen and you guys kind of set my expectations. Like, you guys didn't spoil anything, but you were like, hey, we were really amped and it didn't quite meet it, so maybe you don't go in. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to go in, see what happens. And it was like the second after that opening sequence that, again, I don't even want to spoil that one because that kind of sets the tone for the movie after at the bar, that I was like, oh, I know what I'm in for. And I was, even the things with the family, I was laughing at the henchmen. I love the henchmen in this, you know, gingerbread, Krampus, Peppermint. I love how they make a comment. Do we have to do these stupid names all night? And they're like, yeah. John Leguizamo was Scrooge, and he's having fun in this movie. He's like, I get to be a badass. I get to, you know, be the smart one, the Hans Gruber, if you will. Right. And he doesn't try to play it as Hans Gruber, though. He plays it as his own character. You know, I don't know. I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie, man. I want to go watch it again. I want it to hurry up and either stream or come on DVD.
Yeah, I want it to come on physical media, so I can watch it again, and I definitely will, because I feel when I'm watching it in 4K and all the colors and everything are all more vibrant and everything, then I can watch it at home and then I have a better idea. And I'm like, okay, that's not too dark to see or whatever else, but that needs to stop being a problem, though. Anytime I see modern movies, why is this a problem where things have to see what the fuck's going on? Like just let me see everything. You know, this never used to be an issue. It's like, why can't you film things properly anymore? Yeah,
right. And it shouldn't be like right now we're like not sure if it was a theater issue, but there are movies out there where you're like, you filmed it wrong. You filmed it way too dark. Never should have been done that way. You can light a dark scene.
Yeah, Aliens versus Predator, Requiem.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah,
budget 20 million, so it'll make it.
It's already made budget. So
it's made budget, and that's the other thing about like 87 North. They promote these movies, but they're not promoting it like other Hollywood studios are. I don't think they spent $20 million to promote it. You know, they put less money into it, but that's smart. Why are you putting double your budget in marketing? Why are you spending $100 million and marketing $100 million? That's dumb, especially if it's a movie that should have a fan base behind it. If it's a superhero movie, why are you putting that much into marketing?
Everyone just there you go.
Tell me it's coming out. What happened to just getting trailers on TV and we knew to go watch the movie? You know, and that's where I like what they're doing with this production company. They're doing it smart. And they also understand, like, okay, we'll have a little bit bigger budget, say like Bullet Train, because it's got Brad Pitt. We'll put a little bit more money to it. It'll bring it in, which it has. And then, okay, we're going to put Santa Claus in a movie. Obviously, we're not going to put a ton of money into it, but we're going to put the same effort into it. Right. You know what I mean? I like what they're doing. I truly am a fanboy of that studio, and it's one I'm following. And for those that don't know, we're talking the people that are behind John Wick, Nobody, all these, like, they're bringing action.
The only good action movies, basically.
They are giving us back action movies. I literally tweeted that out today, that Santa granted my wish of giving me back my action movies holiday edition. You know, and that's what Violent Night was. I was just like, damn it, if I was like, I took my son, this is my wife and my son, you know, the other two way too young for this movie. He adored this movie. He was like, that was great. Santa's kicking ass. So he's like, you know, the whole thing with the sledgehammer and all this other stuff. I'm like, I love a good hammer fight. You know, that was one down. Well, that we had potential with Samaritan that just came out this year. And he barely uses the hammer at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Santa blows all of that hype out with a sledgehammer found in the shed. It wasn't even his hammer that they hint towards, you know, in the flashback. So I was like, I love this, man. And, you know, I love the looking at his ring. He's not like tight with Mrs. Claus anymore. Very diehard feelings and this stuff. But, you know, he's like, you know, for, you know, 1,200 years, you know, we haven't really been getting along a whole lot. You know, it's like, he's just beat down, and I loved it. And it had a great blend of comedy too. Yeah, you keep calling me the good guy.
Yeah,
the good guy. Yeah.
5 minutes into that, as soon as they showed that the story of the two brothers, I was like,
everybody worked out in 5 minutes. Yeah, it's that.
Yeah. Nate and I knew it immediately. That was that was like his biggest complaint, and it was like, that I already knew the end of it. You know, there could have fixed a few things. There are scenes in Samaritan I did enjoy.
Oh, I really enjoyed Samaritan. I thought it was good.
It just, I liked Violent Night better. I can tell you that right now. But I think this is the type of action movies people are wanting and what we deserve now. You know, I want uber violent. Look, there's no nudity in this. It doesn't really need it. But, you know, this
would help.
Always helps with a little bit of nudity. But I also, this is a holiday movie that has all this other stuff going on. I was okay with just uber violence. And I mean, I don't know how you upsell the violence in this movie. You have to experience the level they went for this movie. They just said, screw it, go. What's the wildest way you could kill somebody? And that's what they went with. And I loved every second of it.
Fair enough. Okay, Jay, over to you.
So, I when it comes on streaming, I will check it out on streaming. And if I could see clearly the fight, I can kind of tell what's going on if my mind fills in the blanks. This ain't Alfred Hitchcock shower scene. I want to see the violence. It's called Violent Night.
Yeah,
it's in the title. I want to see it. If you're shying away from it, I don't care what the excuse is. It's a fail. Terrifier 2 costs $3 to make, and I could see everything clearly.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can't give it a pass on that. But
if they did it correctly,
if I can see it all, if I see it all clearly, then I'll buy the movie.
Right.
The problem is, David Harbour, everything to do with that guy's dialogue, the way he looks, the Viking background, every little aspect of his performance and everything is really the only reason I even gave it 5 out of 10.
Yeah, he's
everything else is generic. I gave it a 5 mostly because he is so awesome this is like a Superman 3 where I'm like, look, this movie has problems, but Christopher Reeve is the best. So whatever he's on as Superman, I love it. Same with David Harbour, his dialogue,
Yeah.
But the problem is it's still a movie. I still review things using my space method. It's not just about the characters. That can only get you so much points.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the story is generic. Okay, fine. But when the criminals come, the robbers come in and take the family hostage, I don't care if any of the family dies. And I know the kid's not going to die. So anyone else can die because they're all irritating and just completely unbelievable that I don't care about them. They're never scared. There's never any tension.
No threat.
There's no threat level. So Santa could just leave and they'll just take the money and kill everybody. It's like, oh, well, what do I care? See, the problem is that this is me maybe reading too much into it, but we're in this time period where, rich people are bad and they're stupid. So we have to make these people irritating and assholes.
Even the films are all made by rich people. Which
that's
right.
Hilarious.
Yeah, they're all
the irony of
it.
Yeah.
That's the irony of it.
And we don't like other rich people, only us.
Right. So they're all bad guys or they're all irritating. So like, well, I don't care if they die. And then you start to think, well, the one woman, the mom, she's a good person, doesn't want the money. Well, why did you marry that goof? It's like, but you've made this character, the mom, so different that it's like, why would she have married this guy ever? So that doesn't make sense. And then they have the magic, which I really liked. One thing that this has over the Fatman is that I do like the use of magic because Santa is magic.
Yes.
So I love that he just pulls out whatever he needs. Like he just goes in. It's like, okay,
Fatman does have it though, but it's more subtle.
it's more subtle.
When the guys are moving the crates and the crate falls over, and he comes over and just flips it
just
up just like that
picks
because he's
it
super
up.
strong.
Right.
I love
And
that,
he gets his magic from the giving.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
the elves have longevity because of the sugar intake.
It's there
Yeah,
because
I
it's
I
the
love
essence.
that.
Yeah.
I'll
Because
live
he's
forever. I
putting
eat candies all day.
sprinkles in the juice to drink it.
But see, whenever they introduce magic, this inevitably happens. How are the criminals pulling gifts out? It's like the criminal puts his hand in the bag. He's like, "Oh, it's just like a toy. What's this? How does that work?"
The bag is magic, though.
The bag,
and they reference that.
Right,
Like,
the bag is magic,
yeah.
but the present that comes out is the present that the kid wants. So how are you pulling out random presents? Unless they're saying it's random presents that they want, but they didn't look like they wanted them. It's a fumble. They fumbled it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Santa does that because he's like, why has no one wished for a bat or a sword?
Right.
Which I love that little line in there. I think what it is it's probably because he has the list with him because they can read the
of
list
who's naughty and who's nice.
of who's naughty and nice. I think it's more of a thing like I'm here. I got to get this present. Now it's like, I don't care what I pull out. And again, they sell it because I don't know how the magic works. I can't explain it.
So, okay, that's fine.
That's their workaround on that.
Before you continue, though, just while I remember the list scene, which is hilarious because whenever you see Trudy's list and it says in the corner of list, invited weird kid over to hang out.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, because it tells them why. Like it does it with John Leguizamo at the end. It says like all the shit he's done in life.
Right.
But I also love like when he saw like the original henchman. And then the Die Hard 2 scene comes on, and all the other names appear on the list that are all standing out there. And he's like, son of a bitch.
See, but then again, why is the family members not on it? Like, it's like.
Because they're not trying to kill him. You know,
but no, it's anyone naughty. So it's like the family members aren't on that list. So guys, it's a flub.
You're
they
digging
flubbed up
it,
a lot with the magic. Okay, I know you're making excuses, and that's fine.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to help, like, because okay, back on what you were saying about why didn't Santa just leave? He tried.
No, I'm not saying why didn't he leave. I'm saying
why did he care to save the family?
No. I'm saying
What
why should I care if he saves them?
Well,
like I understand,
but they're setting it up in the movie though, because Santa only cared to stay for Trudy.
Right,
Trudy
that's fine.
is all we should care about, not the rest of the family. I mean, I think they're perfect examples of what families are like. That kid on the freaking streaming TikTok, whatever. I thought that was a perfect
kind of douchebag you get today. Yeah,
totally douchebag. I've met some kids like that, man, that talk to their parents like they're pieces of shit.
Right,
you want to smack them. I was over the moon when he got smacked. I thought it was the greatest scene when Krampus smacks the crap out of him. You know, it was just like, I don't care about anyone. And honestly, I would have been okay if anyone else would have got shot, except for, you know, my favorite in the family. But Trudy is the core. That's why Santa is putting his life on the line. And it's also the right thing to do. He's there. He thinks he can help. But I mean, if the reindeer hadn't bailed on him, he'd have been on that sleigh.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Santa shouldn't have cared. I'm asking, like, and I know the kid's not going to kill. Look, you know this movie's not going to kill the kid. There's no chance in hell. So the problem is that there's zero tension in this movie. So this is what I watched. Zero tension movie with fights that I couldn't see.
Okay.
What should I take away from that? It's like, so right away I'm like, okay, there's not going to be any tension and they're not going to kill the kids, so who cares what happens to the rest of the family? They're dicks. All right, that's okay. I'll forget about that part, and I'll just watch David Harbour kill everybody, which I couldn't see. So
in one scene, let's be
fair.
One
scene, I can see
but that was the big scene.
It was the big one, but there is still a lot of killing and action.
Like the scene where he fights the guy and he stabs the guy with the star, and that was a good fight. Yeah.
I mean, you had that. You had the where he throws the guy out the window. You know, the attic scene, which I don't want to, give away anything on that. That there's some things we don't want to spoil, but it is the big scene. But I am going to defend it because I saw it all. I think
so. If I see it all, if I could see it all, that's fine.
But I don't think this movie, they ever intended it to be a tension-filled action movie. Because one thing I did notice was every time they showed, especially when the bad guys first appear in the building and Santa Claus is like trying to come down the steps, every time the camera is on the villains, there is that foreboding music. And the second we see Santa, or it's from his perspective, they change it to holiday, like what you hear in a Christmas movie, a family friendly one. I think they literally just played with it back and forth of, it doesn't need to have all this tension and be like, I don't know what's going to happen. It's like every Christmas movie is predictable. This one essentially is that at the heart. And I think they did it on purpose. That's my opinion on it, is they weren't intending to make this like perfectly executed, script written, movie. It was, we're going to pay homage to every Christmas movie out there, give a ton of action, which is what we keep hearing people like us complain about and beg for.
And also, the word anus will never not be funny.
Yeah, exactly. That is funnier than asshole, but the little girl says asshole, which is still funny.
Yeah.
I mean, we're erupting in there, especially because she's like, can I say butthole? He's like, that's on the edge. That's a little on the line.
What about anus? Well, that is more scientific.
That's technically correct. And it's just like,
that was my favorite scene.
And I was scared that there was like going back to the magic was when I watched the trailer that she's talking on the walkie-talkie, and I was like, did it somehow magically he hears it and he goes and intervenes? No, he literally picks up a walkie-talkie off of a dead
It's pure
guy.
John McClane.
And, it's all John McClane, and he happens upon it. I'm like, I bought it. I believed it. I enjoyed it, and like,
and it's fair. And I want to see it again. And I want to watch it again. You've convinced me to see it again.
Gets it. But I mean, but J-Man, like I was saying, I do get where you're coming from on it. And if I was looking at it through, I guess, that lens, more of an analytical lens of it, yeah, it does fail at those things. I just don't think that's what their intent was. And I
still think the dialogue could have been better. I think the script wasn't amazing. There were some funny moments, but like even the line from the trailer, and I hate whenever they have lines in a trailer and it's not in the movie, where it's like, it's time for some season's beatings. I was looking forward to saying that. It was my favorite line. He didn't say it, and I was like, oh, great.
Yeah, that happens so often. It's I just wish so the action hero guy who's a bit of a goof, who's like, I'm this action hero. Wouldn't it have been neat if he actually took out a guy and he wasn't that bad? Because
I think that would have been awesome.
Like, it's like they're making fun of like, I don't know. Again, I'm reading this as you're making fun of action heroes. It's like, I want to be just like Van Damme, and you're making fun of Van Damme. That's the way I took it. I'm like, okay, well, you're saying Van Damme sucks. That's how so I'm like, this kind of irritated me. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm reading it differently than everybody else, but like, they made fun of Van Damme. Like, wouldn't it have been cool if he went and beat up a couple guys and then he gets killed? That's fine.
I thought it was awesome. He flips out of the window. Like, he actually does flip. Yeah.
I
love when he does that inexplicable little slide over top. I forget what it was he was doing when he was running. He had no reason to slide, and he does it. But I think what that probably was more of an inside joke to the industry, because I'm sure these guys run into those type of guys all the time. Hey, read my script. Hey, I can for sure. And it's like, it's not like he did anything big. I'm big in China, maybe in this one place they kept talking to me. Right. So it's not like he was a huge action star. He was just like an up and comer that happened to have a good looking face. And I'm sure it's a little bit of a nod to like the stories we've heard of Van Damme coming up. That's kind of, hey, I'm really good. I look good. Put me on, and I can do these moves. And that's how he got the job with Cannon. But I don't know. I wasn't offended by it. I think I laughed at it more that
I wasn't offended by it. I thought it was just a joke. I thought it was just being funny.
I looked at it like they were making fun of themselves, is how I took it. Because they're all like, all of the henchmen are stunt guys, and girls. They weren't like I watched one little thing about where they're like, the beauty of using, the actual stunt person is we don't have to worry about trying to cut it into the face of our actor. Then now it's like when that person gets flipped, there's no stunt double that we all make fun of, when they fall out of a plane or they do all this other stuff. But it makes it a little bit more seamless and believable that you're watching them do these things. So
the characters are also interchangeable. It's like any dialogue could have been said by anybody, and it's like, okay.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there was no one like shining in this movie. David Harbour. We're not counting when we say people in this movie. We're not counting David Harbour.
Right. Yeah.
So him and the little girl. Yeah, it's like, that's it.
Why didn't they just have Beverly D'Angelo, the son, the mom, the kid. That's it. And eliminate those other irritate. They didn't get killed anyway, so there's no point in having.
I was so annoyed. The sister, the one with the long black hair, she should have been killed. She was so annoying.
I think something should have happened to her. I'll agree. I don't like the let's come together, because Lord, they were bitchy at each other that entire movie. But I don't know. I feel like you needed it. It drove home the fact that these people really don't even give a shit that it's Christmas. Look at the Christmas presents they give their mom. You know, it was all about the elite. There is a message in here. Even the fact of how they have all that money, there is a message there that they're pushing on here. And so I feel like they're just poking fun at certain sects of SECT, not the other one.
Yeah, I got
it. That's for our viewers. Of, you know, these type of people that maybe we don't have interactions with. You know, my family, it's Christmas time, we're having a good time. You know, it's believable. Like I said, they're putting on a play. It's an act. They think mom's going to retire and put one of them in charge, you know. Right. So it's all about the pageantry of it. They make the joke that they named their son, what was their name? It was
Gertrude
Gertrude, and they named him Bertrude.
Bertrude, right?
And they're like, "What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, that was funny. I like that.
And then also,
it's they're too silly, and they're like saying, "Oh, kill him first, kill him." I'm like, it's like, okay, no.
But if you kill us, you won't know who actually called Santa. I was like, I actually like that line from the kid.
Well, then John Leguizamo's like, well, it ain't gonna be one of the kids, and he wouldn't have told an outsider. So it's like,
that's right. Well, you know, he's problem solving. You know, he's like the mastermind behind the whole thing. You know, and like I think we should throw John Leguizamo in there as one of the characters that is a well cast character in that. I think Leguizamo did
okay. Yeah.
I didn't want a Hans Gruber. So I don't want you copying what's already out there. And I like
he did his own thing, and that was fine. Yeah.
He did his own thing, and he was just like, every time she would be like, well, we do this. I know. And I know, like, woman, I've done my homework. I know everything about. I loved all of that, even to the point where we all were like, yeah, that's going to be Die Hard 2 in a second. We all know. I think they're wearing similar like fatigues and everything.
Yeah, they are. It's
to that whole scene.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were. I don't think the movie was trying to hide that fact. I don't think they thought that they.
I don't.
It was just a nod.
So.
There was no homage. Nothing was hidden. I mean, they blatantly give us an R-rated version of a holiday classic. You know what I mean? It's like, and I was there for it. I thought it could have gone a little too silly, and it is on the verge when Trudy's in the attic, but as it went going, I adored that. I was like, this is what we've all been like, what if the joke around is now no one would survive what Marv and Harry went through in those movies. Guess what? Now we get to see what really happens when two people happen, and you know what it does to them as it goes. And then David Harbour in the attic afterwards that was brutal. That was the one cutaway, but I understood it. You're like, my imagination was better than anything you probably could have showed me at that kill scene. So that one I won't ding it on. They showed me plenty leading up to that, so I was good with it.
The movie also has the bonus of Brendan Fletcher in it, who's one of the henchmen. Is he Krampus? I think the one with the beard,
the short one.
Yeah. He's Krampus.
Now, I love him. He's like an underappreciated character actor. He was in the Rampage movies, right? From Uwe Ball, and you may think, oh god, it's like no, they're actually awesome movies. I love the Rampage movies because like basically it's mostly him fighting against the government, killing the rich and whatever, and he's an absolute psychopath. He's a monster, but yet they're still. You know what? I kind of agree with some of the things he's saying, and that's the thing. He builds this whole following. The character's called Bill, but they are actually genuinely interesting movies.
I haven't seen any of those.
Oh, they're good. Actually, not bad.
I liked his character arc in this one. He's kind of like the wild psychopath looking one. Like he's enjoying the torture scenes when he has them open up presents and the glee in his face. I was in. I was like, I love this guy. This is my favorite henchman because I thought it was going to the gingerbread, the big giant, Norse or Swedish. Yeah. And he's like not all that all there. He ends up being the Marv character basically. But I like the Krampus guy. I was like, I get behind him. It was enjoyable. I don't know. If I went into this analytically going, am I going to tear it apart? I can. I went into this going, it's a Christmas movie. It's having fun with itself. It knows what it is.
Yeah, but so were we though. I mean, we went in
So are we.
so
I
excited
never
for it. I was expecting 4-star review when I go in. I was like, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait. There's going to be so much. But yet, for some reason, it just didn't all gel.
Man, that's just,
I don't know.
Yeah, to me, it's a 4. Yeah, that's just kind of wild.
And I'm only analytical after the fact, not when I'm going there. Literally up until Superman Returns came out, I was playing the sound. I knew it was going to be garbage. I'm like, this movie's going to be awful. I'm going to hate it. And I literally, the day of, I'm like, all right, here we go. Playing the soundtrack, blasting it in the car. I'm like, wearing my Superman shirt. Here we go. I'm like, yeah, this movie sucks. I wasn't even going to go see this. Sean didn't want to go, but I'm like, this looks really fun, man. Let's go have a fun movie for once. I was like, I don't have to have any baggage because, you know, you go to see Black Panther and I'm like, well, I'm the comic book guy, so now everyone's going to want my opinion. I'm like,
you got to be more critical. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No one cares about my opinion on Violent Night. I'm going to see it just to hang out with the guys and have fun watching it. And I was like, ooh, I don't know. This isn't as fun. Now, the darkness did hurt it, but I just didn't care about any of the villains or any of the
funny either. It could have been funnier. I just thought.
Yeah. I didn't really laugh.
I was laughing, guys. I don't know what wasn't funny in
some
this
points
movie.
Were, but I don't know. It just
I mean, they didn't go slapsticky, but I think again, like the way the comedy worked in like Fatman, there is some lightness to it, and the stuff with Walter Goggins. I think it's just the range of emotions that David Harbour is going through as Santa Claus.
Yeah,
and that's. Look, man, I got 3 kids, and that's exactly what they're asking for: cash in video games. And it's money to spend in video games. It kind of kills the Christmas spirit. You're watching Santa just be like, I don't give a shit. My wife drinks skim milk, and that joke killed me in this movie when he takes a sip and he goes skim. My wife looks at me like, don't you say a word. And he goes and he gets the good whiskey and pours it in that, doesn't even rinse the glass out, pours the whiskey, and he delicately eats the cookie. Like, he savors that cookie, slams the whiskey, and he sits in the massage chair. I don't know. I was laughing.
Everything with him. Everything with him.
But I was laughing at the Steel character. I was laughing at, the henchman when it does finally get. I got 5 kids to feed, man.
Shit, man, I ain't even married.
You make me wish I had 3 arms. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. I found the humor in it. I laughed. Like my wife and son were reclined. These had the new reclining seats. I wasn't even reclined. I was just like, yes. And I guess I just stayed in that mode. I really did. I told Owen before we went live, I said, if y'all watch it with me, we'd all been walking out of there.
Probably. I
would have been the ultimate hype man for this movie.
And maybe if you watched it with me, you would have been like, oh, I don't know.
No, I'd have been poking you, Jamie. I'm like, quit dissecting it. Let's go. Look at that kill. It's awesome.
I do the dissection after. I don't dissect.
I know, but I would have tried to keep it up and keep it going. And I did have there was 50 or 60 people in the theater. It wasn't like
we only
had
8?
10. And 4 of it was us.
I didn't have this small group of people going. I had a theater of people going. Like I was leading the charge of cheer. Like it's okay to cheer at the screen, everyone. Let's be happy Santa Claus just ripped that dude apart. And then they were like, yeah, that was awesome. And it's just kept the energy. No one walked out of that theater going, that was horrible. And I never want to watch. They were all like, that was actually pretty good. That was pretty fun. That's what the movie was. I think that's what they intended. And I think they nailed it. That's at least from my take. I had fun with it.
Yeah, I think they aimed higher than what you. I think because the movie's pretty long. It's an hour and 15 minutes.
That's the one down I would give it. I really was hoping for
the opening a bit. Yes. There's half an hour or something. I just went on a bit too long. Yeah.
I agree with you on your review that this should have been a nice tight 90-minute, 95 minutes most movie. I think you could have told the story in that.
Yeah, but also J-Man said something in his review, and I meant to say it in my review because it's one thing I hate. I fucking hate songs and action scenes.
Yes.
It should be score or
score. I didn't like that.
I hate that. Yeah.
The song took me. It's I get it's a Christmas theme. Oh, is it a Christmas theme? Yeah, I got that. It's I don't like it because now it's a song. And it's it just takes away from the impact. I hate when they do it in Marvel movies. I hate when they do it like in pretty much in any movie. It's
Any
hardly
movie
ever
these
works.
days, yeah, it takes away any tension or threat from an action scene
It
whenever
does.
there's a song.
I
Guys,
understand what they're
y'all
going
keep
for.
on this tension and threat thing, and I'm like, y'all watching the wrong movie for tension and threat.
But it's not fun because it's taken me out of it. Because I don't mind if it's fun. They could have had silly score, like silly musical score, to emphasize how fun and Christmassy is, while he's to contrast, like he's destroying these guys with this.
Is it
funny...
because there's words to the song?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I don't.
It
like
applies
that.
meaning to it then, which may be different to like what's going on or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like
it
that
just
in
takes me
any
out
movie.
of it. Any movie, not just this one. It's
not
just
this
general
one.
thing.
I do enjoy a good score with, you know, I feel like I'd rather not just see an action fight with nothing in the background.
Yeah, I want a score.
That's the problem. They don't. But I think I just went into this with like, it's a Christmas movie and there's always Christmas music. So what would I have playing when Santa Claus is kicking ass? Christmas music. So
maybe on one part, but not all of them.
Well, like I said, every time you see him, they change the background music. Like it's they're literally trying to get you in that, like, this is Santa, this is happening. I don't know. It didn't bother me as much, but I get how that would worked as a
And the guest,
the guest is awesome.
But I can understand if you like absolutely don't like that could pull you out of it a little bit.
Yeah, that's not for Violent Night. Any movie.
Yeah, it's just any movie.
Any movie. I'll agree with that.
The thing they do so much these days. It's funny, like, when you go back and watch old action movies, like you go watch Commando or Total Recall or Die Hard or whatever, there's no songs during an action scene. This is like a modern thing made by fucking idiots.
Yeah. We didn't get words and songs till the end credits usually.
Yeah,
you get
the song,
those ballads and, you know, the hard rock love songs.
I get if it's like, you know, No Easy Way Out montage, or something like that. But if they're playing, you know, No Easy Way Out during the boxing match, you're like, what's happening here? Like it's weird. It's like
it has to be the score.
Right?
Is that one of the reasons you didn't like Bullet Train, Owen?
I didn't see Bullet Train.
No, I thought it was just
because they play the Japanese dubbed "I Need a Hero" during one of the big
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
But I liked it because of the pace of everything going. I actually enjoyed that part of it.
No, I enjoyed Bullet Train. It was okay. I don't remember much about it. I watched it like a month ago. And,
I think you do. I think you should rewatch that. There got to be some way I can watch movies with my Canadian brothers. That's what I need right now. You guys need me.
I'll buy it in 4K. I'll buy it in 4K and I'll go to watch, and then maybe we can do a stream on it at some point. And we'll show you.
I'd love to. I've already watched it like 5 times. I bought it.
I've only seen it once, and I'm like, I don't really want to watch it again.
It's on Netflix right now. You can stream it right now.
No, it won't be on. It won't be on Canadian.
No, our Netflix is fucking shite. Like the 47 Ronin sequel I've been wanting to see, Blade of the 47 Ronin. That's not out here.
Really?
You could probably just buy it for cheap anyways. I've seen it around.
I've seen it on DVD, whatever. That's not the point. It's supposed to be on Netflix.
Bullet Train seems like a big enough title. It should have went across like other countries. You know what I mean? Like Canada and America aren't that far apart, people. Why do we have to keep us divided?
We should just become one gigantic empire.
Just one giant one. Let us share our Tubies and our Netflixes and everything.
Yeah.
It's all music rights mostly. It's like that music rights is the killer of everything. And you always think, what is it? It's music. Music is the killer.
Did you see where they finally fixed the issue? We're going to get Moonlighting on DVD now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
we don't have Bullet Train. I just checked.
Oh.
Yeah, Moonlighting I have on DVD. I got it from Mom. Season 1.
That was like,
they
did like one release of it, but it's never gotten another one because of they put literal like top 40 songs in Moonlighting, and so the rights they weren't able to do like any like Blu-rays or any like reprints of it, and they just announced they finally worked it all through and we're getting like a Blu-ray or something of it coming. When I say DVD, normally now that means Blu-ray. You know, it's going to be the new format thing when it goes
Blu-ray or 4K. Yeah,
like I'm literally going to have to buy my dad a Blu-ray. My dad has never got a Blu-ray player yet.
Oh, really?
So now I have to get him a Blu-ray player so I can buy the 4K Blu-ray packs because I can't get the 4K Blu-ray DVD packs very easy.
So in Canada, you can't get Moonlighting. So maybe in Canada it was okay.
See, maybe that's the difference. I think maybe America's getting it finally re-released to us because of the music rights. Of course, there was a lot of Canadian singers back in the 80s and stuff.
Guess
like
we know
that,
which
too.
country's better then, don't we?
Ooh.
Well, we don't have Canada.
Are we gonna stand on the moonlighting mountain for this one? Is that the hill we're gonna
Bring
stand
it
on?
on!
Star
Let's go!
Star Trek also aired a few days in Canada before it did in the US. So,
Oh, you
Check
also had
mate.
you guys had Justin Bieber. Okay,
listen, he's still going.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
That's not something I'd be proud of, guys.
Oh, we know you're a fan. Don't pretend.
Yeah.
Baby,
Bieber. I don't know any songs. You'd have to sing them to me, Charlie. Go ahead.
I only know that one. It was just, and that's only because that's the only lyric is "baby." That's it.
Sing it to me like one of your French girls. Wait, wrong movie.
I do. You know what? I don't mind in the beginning of like the Thor movies where they played some metal. You know, like they played.
When they played
like,
it's like a metal tune. That's fine, but
like
whenever it's
Zeppelin,
like a happy
Zeppelin, they played that.
Yeah.
That was okay in just that one part, just to introduce
That took
it.
them forever to get that song right too.
I know. Yeah,
like that is the perfect Thor song, and it took them up till like Ragnarok to get it.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, holy crap, that should be played on everything. It's like getting AC/DC or Black Sabbath for Iron Man. You know, it's just like literally songs that say his name. You should just automatically be allowed to put it on there, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand.
Oh yeah, we go off person again. My bad.
So now we're on to the voting. So
wait, before we vote, can I say one thing that may help sway somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Santa in Violent Night actually defeats the villain, but in Fatman, Mrs. Claus defeats the villain.
That bothered me in Fatman. I was like, he doesn't actually achieve anything at all.
That bothered me. So that's 1 point in Violent Night's favor. Anyways, that's just something to think about. I'm just throwing that out there. Just as
I think that's a legit thing, but I think if we go back to where that's not an actual what we're even considering an action movie, I think that's a forgivable thing. Again, we already said she's kind of his strength, you know, that he has backing him up. So I kind of was okay with it. She also got shot in the back.
Yeah.
You don't notice that immediately.
I did notice. I did notice that.
But it's easy to overlook because it's from a distance and you realize that she got shot.
But what I loved that was the thing is that it was a genuine partnership between the two of them.
I agree with that.
Right,
and that was the thing. She had his back, he had hers. So it didn't really matter who it was. Like, and I think the thing was, she knew he wasn't going to die anyway. Spoiler alert, because he can't die. Basically, it's just going to.
That's kind of what I was taking from it. Like, he can't die. I mean, maybe if you like Highlander,
decapitate him or something.
But I think the one thing that probably would have cheapened it more, say, like one of the elves had shot him. I think that I would have had way more issue with that.
But if it was her, then you knew it was going to be her because she was loading up the weapons anyway. So it's not like a Deus Ex Machina where it's like this super convenient thing. I was like, no, I believe this because, you know, she knew they were under threat and she was getting the weapon ready and whatever else. And she had his back and she was always had his back and basically was his conscience and kept him going. And it was her who really redeemed him. She's arguably maybe the main hero, really, because when he's at rock bottom, she leaves the photos when he's beating the shit out of the punch bag.
That was good.
And just leaves that and walks away and he looks at it and I was like, oh, wait a minute, people aren't so bad after all. And then that's his redemption, basically. So,
and if you want to get really deep, it's like she could even be having issues with the fact she's not there to help him. Like, he got shot on the job delivering presents, you know, and he comes in wounded and she's like, you know, like she feels helpless at those points. This was a moment where she didn't have to be the vulnerable Mrs. Claus. It was like, she is, you mess with mine, I'm gonna end you. And I liked it. And I think had this been more actiony packed, I would have want Santa having that. But I think who knows, that may not be the only body buried out in Santa's
you
don't know.
Okay, so I'll ask you guys first. So Jay, which do you prefer, Fatman or Violent Night?
So this is gonna sound really stupid since I just spent an hour and 9 minutes, but I think I like Violent Night better. So my reason, so this is gonna sound, it's a cop out, but I'm saying Violent Night. The cop out is that I think Fatman succeeded and achieved what it set out to achieve better than what Violent Night set out to achieve. I think that Fatman achieved what it wanted to better.
Yeah, it was a well-told story.
I'll agree. Story-wise,
So critical analysis, like my space method would rank that movie a higher score out of 10 than Violent Night. Again, not saying once I rewatch the action scene.
Right.
But the big but is that enjoyment is usually the biggest factor at the end of the day, because I'm not going to buy a movie because I critically thought it was good if I'm probably not going to rewatch it that many times, if ever. I probably will watch Fatman maybe another time in my life, and then that'll be it. Violent Night, well, I'm definitely going to watch it again because I want to see if I can see the action. But even regardless of that, I would, if they put up a pre-order for David Harbour's Santa action figure, I would order that immediately, like with the sleigh and all of that. I think the scope of the movie is bigger, and I think there's more potential for more films with David Harbour continuing on in that role, especially the Viking parts.
Yes, please. Hollywood, if you're listening, make that happen.
Yes.
When
100%.
he removed the shirt, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, wow. And then it unlocked my imagination for future projects with this character more than Fatman. But Fatman wanted to be a 100-minute movie. They're like, this is exactly the story we want.
It's
tight.
They effing accomplished it.
Yeah, they effing accomplished it, man. It's like you guys did it.
Agree.
That's exactly the movie you want. I'm still a fantasy guy. I like magic. I'm a gore hound. I do like the gore. I think Walt Goggins was way better than John Leguizamo. I think he was like terrifying and
Walton Goggins makes everything better.
Yeah, he's a great actor. But I really like Mel Gibson a lot. It's a performance. But David Harbour created an iconic character that I think would continue on more versus
and felt like Santa.
And felt like Santa.
It did.
Mel Gibson was a performance. He made it his own. It's a great performance for that movie. Do I see much outside of that movie? No. David Harbour as that character can definitely go on to other films. Like if they made Violent Night Part 2 and they called me and they said, what do we need to fix again? I'm like, yeah, just get a tighter script, get some characters, man. It's not that hard. It's like, and keep the violence and get rid of the music. We get it. It's Christmas. And then that movie'd be awesome. So I'm still going to say Violent Night, even though I spent 1 hour and 12 minutes beating up Violent Night.
Also, the thing is with Fatman as well, is at the end, right? And maybe I'm overthinking it, and maybe I am just and didn't notice this. But so how is Santa and the elves going to continue going? Because they said they don't want to have the military people going anymore. I guess is it just his joy of giving is what brings it back?
They don't really go into that a whole lot. I think. I work for myself, so if I run out of work, it's my fault. If I'm doing good, it's because of me. And a lot of that has to do with my mindset sometimes. Like I can really get down on myself and not have enough coming in. And I think because it changed his mindset going forward, that he was like, I'm not going to let this beat me. There are other options. I mean, he was calling people. I love the little thing where he's calling people, he drops the Elon line,
I love that.
I just love the little they base it in hey, we did great work for you back in 98. I was like, I love all of that. So I just feel like he just has a renewed sense of purpose, and who knows, maybe he's still subsidized from the government. Maybe he renegotiated a contract that better suit, because I mean literally everything got destroyed and it wasn't his fault, so maybe they're taking pity.
Insurance money. He had insurance.
Maybe he got a really good insurance. Because they blew up his workshop.
Yeah, actually, when I was thinking about it there, and I thought, because they talk about it's the joy of giving is what gives him his power, basically. And I thought, okay, well, he's got his power back because he's redeemed himself and he's found his love for people again. And I think that's it. So with him doing that, then that's going to just bring everything.
I think back. It just means that things are going to move forward, and he's renewed his sense of worth, and he has that drive again. So that's what I took from it. And again, it's
as usual. I overthink everything. That's what we do.
Overthink it. I mean, if you're going to overthink a movie, Fatman, I think is definitely the one to do it.
J-Man.
I'm turning my Judge Dredd dial to. I'm turning it up.
Yeah, there goes Mean. He's only on 1. Don't make me turn him up.
If I go to 2, that's it. I'm going to analyze. It's going to take me 3 hours to watch a 1 hour movie. It's like pause, write everything down.
Well, what's hilarious is that I think we're probably all going to have the same answer here because, like, as an action movie, Violent Night is superior in every way. I think David Harbour nailed it as Santa Claus. There's more action in it. There's more fight scenes. There's great kills. Awesome bad guy death. It feels more Christmassy, and there is more of a sense of fun to it. It's not as somber, because Fatman's a surprisingly somber tale.
Very.
So Violent Night, I'll happily rewatch over the years. I know I'll be buying it, and I will watch it again. Because I did get to meet David Harbour and interviewed him twice, and he's like one of the nicest people I've ever met. So I will support my boy anywhere. So that was really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna say Violent Night. Even though I've seen Fatman more times, I've seen it like 3 or 4 times by now, and I've only watched Violent Night once.
Yeah, but Violent Night just came out Thursday.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But I already know that I'm going to watch that a lot over the years, and I know that's going to be a regular staple come Christmas. I'm still going to watch Fatman too. I like that too. And
I've watched it every year since.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's for sure.
But yeah, I'm going to say Violent Night. So Charlie, what on earth are you going to say?
How can I defend this movie so damn much and you guys vote for it, but I feel defeated somehow? It's just like I fought so hard, but everyone's like, "Nah, we were going to vote for this anyway." This out of Charlie. But this was one of the things when I was talking about earlier was these movies are just on so different spectrums of, like, even Christmas movies, not even just movie of Christmas movie. Like, I'll watch both equally. I will watch each one of these every Christmas from now on. They're going to be in my rotation. We have a thing that every night from Thanksgiving on to Christmas, we watch a Christmas movie, or at least something Christmas themed, depending on what we got going on. So this is going to be in my
horror story.
Oh, Christmas Horror Story.
Yeah.
Oh, we watch Christmas horror stories, Christmas like scary movies, silent.
No, but a Christmas Horror Story. It's called the movie with William Shatner, and he's like a DJ in it, and you have Krampus coming to, and he fights Santa. And he's got like a chain and like the movie's fucking awesome, and it has the best twist, which I'm not going to spoil. If you haven't seen the movie, watch it, and you're going to be like, "Oh my god, the movie is so cool!" It's really, I watch it every year.
This looks awesome. I remember seeing this, and I completely forgot about it. I'm gonna.
The practical effects on Krampus are awesome. It looks so good. So you guys need to watch it. It's really good.
I'll watch it because we I think this weekend we watch Krampus at the house because we watch that now. Don't bother with the naughty cut. If anyone hasn't got it,
I just bought it. I just got it on 4K, so I'm going to watch it. So we'll see. I heard there's not that much different about it.
It doesn't add anything. It adds a little more naughty language. That's about it. No more violence.
It still has the best line though at the end though. I haven't tried as much since the Pope died.
I love that. I love her. Too bad she's
just great. Yeah.
Yeah, my vote is Violent Night for sure. I know. Whoa. But I love Fatman. I love watching that movie. I watched it again today just to be fresh on all the details. Going, God, man, this movie is just so well. It is a better story than Violent Night.
Better story, more likable characters. So I mean, it's funny. Really, we should be saying Fatman is the better movie because it is the better movie. But just in terms of like an action movie, Violent Night is the
action, entertainment, and while it is longer, it didn't need to be. It not really slow by any stretch of the imagination. It keeps pace. Fatman, not a lot happens till later in the movie, and I think that one feels a little longer, while Violent Night, at least to me, I didn't feel like I trudged through an almost 2-hour long movie. No. I agree there was stuff when you look back going, damn, that was 2 hours. Okay, we probably could have cut a little bit out of there and tightened it up and I'd have been okay. But I wasn't watching my clock or anything watching the movie. But yeah, it's hands down Violent Night. David Harbour nailed it. 87 North is killing it right now. I will be their biggest cheerleader. This when my podcast is Give Me Back My Action Movies, they're actually a studio listening to us, and they are trying to give us back those feelings we had as kids and teenagers watching action movies where we go, whoa, that was awesome. I can't wait to tell my friends. You know, I immediately came home. What did I do? I messaged you guys. You know, that's it, man. I was like, I gotta let them know. It was also because they were like, I don't know if it was that good. Charlie's like, holy shit, I love this movie. That was exactly what I messaged everybody. But,
okay,
you know,
so that's rare. So then we all agree on Violent Night being the better movie. So
I still don't feel like I won, but I won. I don't know.
At end of the day, I'm a hero person. For me, it's hero, villain, story. I know that sounds crazy because I'm a film student and a writer, but if I'm pumped up for the hero to go around do stuff as the character, I can take a generic story. Like out of both these movies, if they made toys or whatever, like, oh, David Harbour as Santa, that's the number one toy. And then I want removable coat with the tattoos underneath. You know, like it's like
a bag with lights in it or something, or lights up so it looks like it's magic.
Yeah.
I have one thing I would change in Violent Night. I have one thing I would change. So when he's tending the wound, have him only open up the shirt enough to just see some of the tattoos.
Right.
Okay. And then we can start. You can still do the flashbacks because you know it's definitely, you know, all of the runes and stuff on his chest. And then when it gets to either the barn scene or the John Leguizamo fight, rip the sleeves off of his so that the coat stays on. But the sleeves rip off and you see the full arm tattoos. So you're not like, this dude.
Oh
no, that's an
this
excellent freeze
frame. Way more.
Oh no, we lost you, Charlie. You're just looking like a crazed madman.
This is awesome. This is the mugshot right here.
Yeah.
Am I back now?
There you are. You're back there.
I planned that. I said Viking and then went.
And then it just went. And then I was just frozen like that.
But I would have loved, just because I loved him as Hellboy. I actually really enjoyed the David Harbour Hellboy. And, you know, there are like the sleeveless versions of him where he's got ripped. But just that, I want to see a Santa Claus with no sleeves on his coat, swinging a sledgehammer. And I was like, that would have been so much more badass. I love the ending, but if I'm going to change something, it's that.
Yeah.
You can keep the shitty characters. I want him to go sleeveless Santa beating the shit out of people.
Fair enough. So yeah, apologies to Extreme Movie Show, who said we reviewed Violent Night. I think myself it's horrible. Fatman was solid. Enjoy the stream.
We did enjoy the stream.
We did enjoy it. Actually, really enjoyed it. Because the problem is, like, I've enjoyed both movies for different reasons. And like I said, I have Fatman on Blu-ray. I watch it every Christmas, and I will for years. And I'll do the same with Violent Night. But just as an action picture, I think I got to give it to Violent Night. It's just got more fight scenes. Somebody gets killed with a star.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's a sledgehammer scene, even if it is dark or whatever. So, you know, and one of the best bad guy kills of all time at the end. I mean,
that
genius.
Was how they thought that through, because I'm watching it going, I think I know what's going to happen, and then it happened, and I'm like, I didn't see that coming. That looked awesome.
Yeah, I was trying to think, and I was like, oh no, somebody's going to save him, and he's not going to do it at the end. It's going to be one of I thought it was going to be Beverly D'Angelo, because she picked up the gun, and I was like, oh, she's going to shoot him and save him. And I said, that's lame, because then he doesn't do it. The hero doesn't do the thing at the end. It's saved for somebody else. And I hate that with Iron Man 3.
And Iron Man 1, even Pepper Potts pulls the thing or whatever too.
Yeah, it's always her.
It's always Pepper Potts who's the hero. Worst character.
Anyway, but yeah, no, it wasn't. It was him, and then he killed the bad guy, and it was awesome and everything.
Was awesome.
And
Loved it.
Also,
loved it. Everybody should go watch it.
Yeah, go support R-rated action.
Yeah, it's not going to be in the theaters very long. I do think this was well watched in a theater. Yeah. I'm glad they at least attempted to put it out there, and now they're going to get double the money from me. Hell, it cost me $45 to take 3 people to the movies last night. So yeah, they're going to get my money. And
you can pre-order it now. It's on Amazon for pre-order.
Okay, then I'll get on there later, and I will.
I hope it comes to 4K. I really want it on 4K.
It's not on 4K pre-order, so we'll have to.
It will probably eventually.
It will at some point when it comes out.
Wait it out. Waited.
Yeah.
Well, I love it so much. I'll buy both versions. I'll get it on Blu-ray and then later 4K.
Well, I'll
that's how much
just
I
wait for
love
the
it.
4K set, and you get 4K with the Blu-ray with it, and then that's
You don't always get that, by
not
the way.
always, but sometimes.
Yeah, so just be careful of that because for Charlie, if you don't have 4K, I don't know if you have. Well,
I've got a 4K player. Yeah.
Well, you know, Owen got me a 4K player, so now I have.
I knew.
I told Charlie a few weeks ago.
I was like the little elf. I knew all of the secrets.
Well, now I'm gonna order Rollerball because see, like,
that's just out.
You know, and it's only 4K and DVD. There was no Blu-ray. So that's when it comes in handy, where it's like, well, now I can get Rollerball. Plus, that's one of my favorite movies. Now you can get the updated version. Now I can get the proper so I was already thinking like, okay, what do I need to start?
Well, let me know how good that transfer is because I'd love to see.
Yeah, I want to pick it up. I just watched it again.
Oh, I don't like. It has to be better than the DVD. The DVD was okay. the DVD. Rollerball is like one of my favorites. I must have it.
I think the DVD was barely fixed from the VHS. Barely. I don't think. Yeah, there was a lot. Like we lived in the dark days of DVD, gentlemen, when they would just go, let's just rip this VHS onto a DVD and they'll be happy.
That's not exactly always. What a lot of them did.
And that's what it was. Yeah. All right,
boys. Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
That was an impromptu stream there. We don't normally do this, but I just had the idea, and I was like, it's 2 movies with a cynical Santa who needs to find himself again and his love for Christmas, and he did, and Christmas is saved, so we can all be happy.
And we all happened to watch it, and it all worked out great. I love it.
Everything's all right, yeah. So we will be back on Wednesday for the Conan stream is finally happening. So
Conan.
None of us are going to show up. It's just going to be J-Man, and we're just going to leave him to talk for about 3 hours, and that'll be about it.
I'm just telling you now, I'm not bringing everything up. It's like an insurmountable amount of stuff.
I'm gonna be like this.
I can't even like even just toys would be impossible. Comics would be uber impossible.
Yeah,
it just won't happen. I'll just talk about the 3 movies.
We're just talking about the 3 movies. Yeah,
I've got every soundtrack, every re-release soundtrack. I've got a 3-disc Conan the Destroyer limited edition soundtrack set. Like, it's crazy.
Damn.
It's crazy. I'll try to show some things, but I can't do everything. Just so you know.
A couple things are cool. We like when we do that. Like we did the Judge Dredd show.
Exactly.
I can't show every Judge Dredd thing I have.
Yeah, it's impossible.
I showed some of it, but you know, we're fans. That's why we have this shit. That's where we spend our money, man. It's awesome.
That's what matters.
Give me a day. NECA. I want David Harbour as Santa Claus now. Give it to me.
I definitely want that.
Yep. Give me.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Do it now.
Him holding a sledgehammer.
Oh, if I don't get a sledgehammer, I won't buy it.
Oh, yeah. They'll do that.
I want a sledgehammer with it. I want multiple heads, you know, where he's like not beat up, and then the blood stayed in his mustache and down his beard and it got darker. I love that when they take the little details. And I was like, I'm in. I'm like, J-Man's like, we already voted for it, Charlie.
Okay, I don't know what else.
We're already done. Okay, we're done.
It's like, Charlie, Merry Christmas. I voted for Violent Night. That's your Christmas present.
Thank you.
We gave you the greatest Christmas gift of all.
I will take it. So I will always refer to this stream.
So it's not going to be a versus on Wednesday. We're just going to be shooting the shit about the Conan movies and whatever.
Well, Conan the Barbarian is my favorite movie of all time. I think it's the best film ever made in the history of cinema. So
yeah, we already know what he's voting for.
Yeah. So,
I can't defend Jason Momoa as much as I did David Harbour. Okay, that's all I can say.
Yeah. Although he was all right, but we'll get.
I enjoyed the movie.
We will talk.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
So to be continued. So thank you to anyone who's watching, and we will see you on Wednesday. But until then, remember, you are the action lead.